There is a lot of buzz around the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, but is it really that much better than the 14 Pro Max? Or is it all about the hype and some really good Apple marketing? Hey guys, Vic here with PhoneArena, and we'll go over all the new iPhone 15 Pro Max features. Apple says you get 3 new camera lenses, and we'll see if that new 5x zoom camera is all it's hyped up to be. We'll measure the display, the battery life, the new A17 Pro chip, everything. And as you can see, we have all 4 new iPhone 15 models, and we'll be posting camera deep dives, some very interesting battery test results, and a lot more. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. And starting with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, here we have the titanium white version. It looks really clean, and most importantly, it has the lighter color on the sides, which is a great thing because those darker titanium colors actually still act like an absolute fingerprint magnet, while the lighter colors do not. And we ran a poll on the channel about the most popular iPhone 15 Pro colors, and can you guess the winner? Well, it's the new natural titanium model. Second comes the titanium blue version, and here's what the blue one looks like. It's a very dark shade of blue. Then came the titanium black version, and this white one actually got the least amount of votes, but I think it might be a bit underrated. And this year we don't have a gold model like we used to have before. So what is not underrated at all about the iPhone 15 Pro Max is just how much lighter it feels compared to the 14 Pro Max. The numbers don't do it justice. The new one weighs 221 grams compared to 240 grams on the older one. So technically the new model is only 8% lighter, but you really notice the difference in real life. Not just this, but if you look at the two side by side, you can see the new model is just a bit narrower and shorter. So all of that kind of comes together and makes a bigger impression. And I also really like the slimmer bezels around the screen. Just take a look at this close-up, comparing it to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's a very noticeable difference and a much more modern look. And you also have slightly rounded edges. This is very subtle, but the effect is that the new phone doesn't cut into your pinky so much when you're holding it, and you probably shouldn't care about this if you use a case, but if you don't, you will appreciate it. And guys, here's something you really need to hear. Check out the loudspeakers on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Here is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and listen to it for a short while. I hope you can hear the difference, but the new model is indeed a bit louder, and that is a really cool upgrade. Apple never really talks about the speakers, but the iPhone 15 Pro Max gets a really nice speaker upgrade. But let's jump to the cameras. There's a lot of hype around that new 5x zoom camera, but first let's look at what has happened to the quality at 3x zoom. After all, that's the camera you have on the older model. So now if you look closer at this image, you can definitely see the older iPhone with the 3x zoom lens does a much better job, not a surprise. And if you go all the way to 4.9x zoom, the difference is actually quite big. But the moment you switch to 5x, the new tetraprism fancy lens kicks in and you get a lot more detail. So anyway, the takeaway from all this is that when you're taking zoom pictures, it's better to use 5x on the new 15 Pro Max, even if you have to step back just because you get that cleaner detail. But actually the change I think counts the most is the new 24 megapixel photo resolution for the main camera. Images from the 15 Pro Max have more detail and get rid of the annoying over sharpening issue we had on the 14 Pro Max. And while colors have remained mostly the same, the improved detail goes a long way. My personal favorite, however, are the new 28mm and 35mm presets. The 1x view that you have by default is just a bit too wide, so I have set the camera on the 15 Pro Max to now default to 1.5 times, or the 35mm so-called lens, and I love it. It sounds like a small change, but give it a try. After all, it's no coincidence that many point-and-shoot cameras back in the day came with a fixed 35mm lens. It's just very versatile and useful. Video quality, however, remains practically the same on the 15 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max, with some very minor changes. Slightly warmer colors on the new model, but essentially detail, everything else is pretty much the same. And next up, we also had very big expectations about the new A17 Pro chip inside the 15 Pro series. It's the world's first 3nm processor, brand new chip, but this performance has been a mixed bag. Some users reported heating up to more than 100 degrees, so much so that it's hard to even touch the phone. And for some that happens while charging, for others it happens with just regular use, for others it happens with gaming, and yet others don't even have that issue. And our unit is a lucky one, it doesn't heat up, but it might be a good idea to see how this issue develops and whether it will persist in time or get a fix, and so far Apple seems to just turn a blind eye. But the one most profound change on the iPhone 15 series seems to be the simple switch to a USB-C port. Now, in a poll we ran, this new feature is actually the most popular one by a lot. The USB-C port is great for a number of reasons. You can just plug in an SSD drive, transfer files without any dongles, you can hook up an external monitor, you can connect a microphone, and it all just works. Now, keep in mind that the cable that comes in the box with your iPhone only supports USB 2 speeds, which are kind of slow, but if you have an external drive already, it probably came with a USB 3 cable. At least we had one with our Samsung T5 drive, and transferring files with it is super fast. And of course you don't need to buy that super expensive $70 Thunderbolt 4 cable that many people talk about. It's just not necessary. But one thing we were disappointed to see were actually charging speeds that haven't changed. Both the 15 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max support 25-watt charging speeds, and a full charge takes nearly 2 hours, which is quite long with modern standards. So what about battery life? The 15 Pro Max comes with a marginally larger battery size than the previous model, 4422 versus 4323 on the older model, which is a 2% difference. It's negligible. Now, Apple says battery life has remained the same as before, and on our lightest web browsing test, the iPhone 15 Pro Max actually scored nearly exactly the same as the previous model. But interestingly, on our YouTube video streaming test, the 15 Pro Max lasted 9 hours and 45 minutes, which is not a bad score, but it is an hour less than the previous model. And we're very curious to hear your experience with battery life on the 15 Pro Max in the comments below. Now, after using the 15 Pro Max for more than a week now, I can also very confidently say that I just love this one small little new feature, the new action button. Most people will probably keep it functioning as a mute switch, but even as you keep it simple as that, it feels just a bit easier to use. And of course, you can also set it to pretty much anything via the Shortcuts app, or you can set it to open the camera, open your favorite music app, or even tweak it to do something really cool like instantly start the Notes app or launch the Google Assistant instead of Siri. So that's a cool upgrade. Overall, is it worth upgrading to the 15 Pro Max? The new lighter design with the slimmer bezels, the improved photo quality with the new lenses, and the convenient USB-C port, well, those seem to be the biggest upgrades. But at the same time, it might be wise to wait it out this year, and we don't usually say this about Apple launches, but this year, with those thermal issues, we should see if it's something you should worry about or not, so we'd rather wait it out just a little bit. And what's your opinion about the new 15 Pro Max? Is it a worthy upgrade or not? Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.